It's been 2.5 months since that collapsed sewer line sent hundreds of millions of gallons of raw sewage into the Potomac River.
That sewer line is now back up and running, and the focus is now shifted to the cleanup. News 4's Mark Seagraves has been leading our coverage of this environmental disaster and joins us now with an update on the progress. Mark, what's the latest down there?
Yeah, they are making progress. That's a good way to put it. And you can see this used to be filled with billions of gallons of wastewater here in the C&O Canal. That's all gone, but left behind is that solid sewage slush that they are now working to get out. And while a lot of progress has been made, there's still a lot of work yet to do. For about 2 months, billions of gallons of wastewater and raw sewage flowed through this section of the C&O Canal as part of the bypass to keep the sewage from going into the river while the sewer line was being repaired. Crews have removed all that wastewater now, and what's left behind is the muck of mud and sewage residue that's now being removed. Sherry Lewis with DC Water walked us through the labor-intensive process underway.
So we started removing the soil between locks 13 and 14 here, and we're removing it all the way down to the clay liner. We'll then go in, repair the clay liner, and rebuild the C&O Canal to the NPS specifications.
And so that's what we're seeing here, right?
Yeah. So it's interesting because it is a bit of a slower process because you can't just bring in giant excavators and put dump trucks into the C&O Canal.
The lower section of the canal is still covered with the sewage residue.
What we're doing is we're moving all that sludge between locks 10 and locks 13. What they're doing is they pump water in it into the canal. They get a channel with a slurry, basically a watery mixture with the sludge, and then it's vacuumed out by these giant vacuum trucks. And that's the process of removing the sludge. Once we're done with that, then we can start the soil removal.
And there are more signs of progress at the cleanup site. The last time we brought you down here, we showed you crews cleaning these rocks in this creek by hand. You could see the sewage was just coated on the ground down there. Now you can see where grass is starting to regrow. And here just above Lock 10, you can see the progress being made as well. Again, the last time we brought you here, this was filled with wastewater and raw sewage, millions of gallons. And there were those massive intake valves pumping the water back into the underground system. Now it's empty. Those intake valves are gone and the ground is covered up. And the work to clean up the canal is underway. Lewis tells us cleanup will last well into the fall.
And so that is going to be a process. That is going to take several months for us to do. But when we're done, the C&O Canal is going to be better than it was before we started to use it for that bypass. If you look at the canal that's empty right now, it's filled with brush and overgrowth and invasive species. And when we get done with this, it's going to be basically brand new. So the cleanup is just one of the projects going on down here. They're still working on those long-term repairs to that underground sewer line that collapsed. That's the work that's going on in the distance through the woods there. That work will continue on for the next 9 to 10 months. And because I know this is the question that everybody has on their mind, what it's like down here, yeah, it still stinks, but the good news is it doesn't stink nearly as bad as it once did. That's the latest down here at the C&O Canal. Back to you guys.
And he doesn't have to wear a mask.
That's good.
We remember those weeks.
Small victories. All right. Thank you, Mark.